It's been a lovely day, and I think it has so much richness, with starting with a theater and then hearing so many different kinds of talks and panels, and like I love that we got to move a little bit, because I think a lot of the times we just get to sit down for too long and take things in. So I really enjoyed that part.
I thought it was really stimulating. I was delighted to find that there are kindred spirits, that it looks like the next stage of life is going to be fun, while let the kids have all the fun, and it's great to see that a bit of disruption and a bit of revolution is what people of my age have to offer. So I think it's great, bring it on.
I really enjoyed it. It was a fantastic opportunity to see how people are thinking and opening up to the opportunities that human longevity is offering now. And you know, a couple of years ago even people were, you know, I suppose hearing this thing, but you really realize that, you know, now it's being absorbed and people are really waking up to how they need to embrace it, because it can be scary, you know, no doubt about it. We heard statistics today that make you worry about those later years that nobody has planned for. But if you get your head around it now, I think we can all make them really positive and vibrant years. So it's great to see people collectively embracing the concept.
Well, I actually think it's in organizations' self-interest to do that, because, you know, there's a phenomenon of boomerang employees. Now, that won't apply to third act people, but these people can speak well of the company, they can help mentor people within the company. So I think it's a resource for a company. If they look at it in a sort of a proactive, positive way, it's a resource on a number of different levels. And I think organizations should think in terms of building a third act alumni base. So the great companies of the world do that. The greatest of all is McKinsey. So, you know, take a leaf out of their book. They've got 30,000 former McKinsey people, many of whom have retired, around the world, who actually speak well of McKinsey, connect back to McKinsey, help McKinsey people, and refer business back to McKinsey. So a little bit of self-interest, but it's also a good thing to do.
I think it would be very important that there's more structure in place to facilitate people to actually make that effective transition out, because it's very scary. It's like the trapdoor opens or there's a cliff edge and you fall off. And often it's difficult for organizations because they're thinking about their current employees or their next wave, and they're not thinking as much about their past employee group. But I think for future, it behoves organizations to think more about this.
There is a phenomenal level of ageism in society, and you've only got to look at societies which cope with ageing better, where people actually live longer and they're happier. So it's a message for all of us, really. If you want a society where people live longer and are happier, then you have to get rid of ageism. And really what ageism is, it's the belief that there's a certain point at which you become useless. And that is a complete nonsense. Useless, and as a woman, invisible. And somehow we have to call people out on those assumptions, and we have to change it. And I think it's up to our generation, people like me who were born just after the war and, you know, a bit later, to actually change it. And I think we probably have the ability to do that, because there are a lot of us.
People are worried about, let's say, all these elders that are coming. Society is still, let's say, try to make something out of, let's say, the post-crisis era. They have not realized, let's say, the unleashed potential in the third actors. Let's say people that, let's say, go into, instead of a sliding mode downwards, go upwards and, let's say, contribute to society until they are 70, 75. When you do the calculation, let's say, all the problems that we are now suffering from, they vanish. Economists have, let's say, done the calculation. Please open your eyes.
The message for society for me would be there is a huge reservoir of talent, a huge potential contribution to be made that isn't being tapped into, that in fact, in many ways, to some extent, is being ignored. And so I think ignore this reservoir of potential at your peril.